Hello, everybody. It's been about 2 weeks since I podcasted, and it's because I've been so busy. Like, I've had so many gigs and stuff has come up. You know what? I have some bad news. Many of you might not know this, but my wife was pregnant and she had a miscarriage. And I got to tell you that it was pretty early. It was 9 weeks in, and it was sad nonetheless. I'm a guy, and I don't have to go through the miscarrying process, but my wife had to go through it. And, that's all there is to that, really. I mean, there's more to it, but what am I going to tell you on a podcast? My wife is somebody who doesn't mind talking about miscarriages. I mean, that, and talking about that she's pregnant right away, right when she finds out. And a lot of people tell you not to do that because you can have a miscarriage. They're more common than people think. But the thing is that if nobody talks about it, if women don't talk about it, then they're going to feel like they're alone in it. So I think it's fine. It's disappointing, and if you're disappointed, you can be disappointed with me. I'm frankly, I don't mean to sound callous, but I'm over it in the sense that I don't have too many bad feelings about it now. And the reason she had a miscarriage is it just was not a viable pregnancy, let's put it that way. So that's something that happened, and I've played a lot of gigs. I feel like I should have a moment of silence for that there, right? Otherwise, you're gonna think I'm a total dick. Maybe I am. No, I'm not. But hey, we gotta move on, people. Smack your chest and or scratch your head or do whatever you need to do. As they say, grab your nutsack and let's move forward. Okay, we got a lot of beautiful things happening. So my gigs, I over the time that I haven't podcasted, I thought about that I would talk about this and that about the gigs, and now I don't want to talk about any of that stuff. But what I do want to talk about is something that I've been going through more recently. I'm shy, and I don't know if it's the right thing to do to talk about my personal life to a certain depth, meaning about my relationship, about my domestic disputes that I've been having lately. But then again, like the miscarriages, if you don't talk about these things, then everybody's going to feel alone in them. So this is maybe something I'll cover periodically in the podcast, and so I don't bore you to death with a long drawn out talk about my domestic relationship. My domestic relationship. I sound stupid saying that. My wife and I'll tell you what, we argue. We have discussions a lot. And I can tell you that over the past 3 years, it's maybe like once every 3 days. And sometimes, for stretches, it's once every 2 days. And we have communication problems, big time. Now, there's a lot that I could say about that. But for your sake, I'll tell you what I've been thinking. An analysis that might help you or somebody that you know. Here's something that I notice is my wife and I, of course, we have different minds, and we have areas where we're similar. However, a place that we're not similar, and I'm even not similar apparently to our counselor, our marriage counselor. When you grow with someone, you don't have to create a painful situation that is totally unnecessary in order to grow with your spouse. You could take something as extreme as you're physically abusive or you could take something like you're mentally abusive, or you can just do some dumb shit that will create problems in your relationship. And then you work through those problems, and then you grow and you become closer. But I see that as like being somebody who only knows how to be intimate and grow with somebody through pain. And life already has pain in it. Like automatically. You don't have to create any of it. People that you love are going to pass away, and you're going to lose jobs, and you're going to get evicted, and you're going to wreck your car, etc. So growing with someone and going through things with someone, when it's arbitrary, is quite irking to me. If you don't know what irking means, it pisses me off. That's what that means. Now, let's say that's different from, let's say you went to Ecuador with someone, and you were in this foreign country, and you're with your spouse and your kids, and hey man, you remember that one time when we were in Ecuador and you lost your passport, or this person stole your passport, and then you lost track of our daughter because such and such thing happened, and then we all figured it out, and we were scared, and we made it out of there, and we worked together. That is a real life situation, something that happens. Or you remember that one time when and I locked the keys in the car, and the kids were in the car seat, and it was getting kind of hot, and I was thinking about breaking the window, but then we didn't break the window, and we did this other thing, and then we opened the car. That is something that you grow from, that happened, and you work together as a team. It wasn't like one person in the team was causing problems for the other person in the team, or for both of you, and then you grow from that. When you do that kind of a thing, it's like, I see, like, for example, you can look at many things like this, but let's take a relationship. You can look at yourself, like your personal side of things like this, but for what we're talking about, it's a relationship. So I see it like a car. You have an automobile, and you're on a road trip. Life is a ride. It's a road trip. And then you have somebody riding with you, and your relationship is the car, and your car maybe has some problems, but it has good integrity. And if you have problems continually, let's say every 3 days, like, that means that you can't get on your road trip, and you can't see the sights, and you can't do all of the things because you keep pulling over to work on your car because the transmission broke down, or the brakes are bad, or things keep going bad. Now, those things are natural, but it's another story if you're going along in the car with your partner and you decide to pull out a fuse, and then it fucks up something in the engine. Or you can't use the wipers and it's raining, and you start arguing about that you pulled the fuse out, and why did you pull the fuse out, And if you keep doing these kinds of things, this is those arbitrary arguments, these arbitrary problems that happen on a road that already has challenges, already automatically in it. I think that it's possible that there's another part of the podcast coming up here where I touch on the subject. Again, it's something that I recorded before I recorded this. And if it elucidates on a different side of it, I'll keep it in there. But nonetheless, it's something that's very important to me to focus on this. And I feel like I'm making perfect sense, right? I don't always, if I feel like I'm not, or if I think that I don't have a good grasp on something, I tell you that I don't think I have a good grasp on this, but I really think that I see this clearly. And any doubts that I have about that are, coming from my partner, because it's very hard for me to get through talking about this. And our counselor is somewhat reluctant to some of my perspectives. I'm not the counselor in the counseling session, but there's things that I feel like I should be listened to. Why am I telling you this? But anyway, there's things that I feel like I should be listened to. I'm a grown man, you know. When if I tell you, hey, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. If I don't know what I'm talking about, I'll tell you, I don't really know what I'm talking about right now. You know, there's a lot of holes in my idea, but if there's not, if it's something that I've taken a lot of time and energy to think about, you know, I don't know if you're like that. I don't know if it matters if you're like that or not, or if anybody else is like that. Are you like that? So, you know, this podcasting thing is I would say over 50% of the time before I start podcasting, I don't want to do it. I don't want to podcast because I'm always afraid to turn on the microphone and start talking. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I make a small cue card. I put a couple of ideas down of what I might talk about. I'm not talking about any of the stuff that is on my card right now. You know, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like talking about that. But I feel like the podcast thing is sometimes I feel, is this narcissistic? Is it any more narcissistic than if you don't have a podcast but you post on social media and photographs and text? Is this more narcissistic than that? But I would say no, because just because I have the ability to record it and the know-how, why would that make it more narcissistic? I have to express myself, and I need to keep a social media presence, I guess. But you know what? I have fun with it. After all, when I hit the record button, I have fun with it. Anyhow, do you want to hear that? I don't know, man. But it's something that goes through my mind from time to time. Like, why am I even talking? Why am I even uploading this? And do you want to hear what I have to say? I hope so. And if you do, thank you. But I feel like even, maybe it's because I don't have a Facebook or an Instagram even, but I feel like even despite all of that stuff, there's no like intimacy in our communication. And as I mentioned before on the podcast, podcasting is quite intimate to me. And there's not the right kind of validation. There's no like human contact validation. At least this way you can hear my voice and my inflection. So here's to all the narcissists. I guess you have to have some ego to do these things, to post, to make your art, but I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't even know if that's accurate or not. It is possible you could be a pretty damn egoless person. And I happen to like pretty damn egoless persons. And you can tell when somebody is egoless because they can make fun of themselves just like they can make fun of everything else. If you have somebody that takes themselves too serious, which again, as I've mentioned on the podcast before, I happen to notice that spiritual people often take themselves too serious. That person has a pretty big ego, which is ironic, but believe it or not, you can have a big ego about not having a big ego. On another note, okay, well, I don't leave you hanging with that. It's been difficult for the things that I've explained, and it's been difficult just because of work. I've had so many gigs. I've played at private parties, and I played a Cinco de Mayo gig that was like 6 hours long, and I had pain in my shoulder because of that from the guitar for like a solid week. It was on the decline the whole time, but it was there. But as many of you might know, I'm starting a mariachi band. Not starting it anymore. I've already started it. And we have some very elegant outfits coming in the mail. Black with silver work along the sides and in the jacket. And we have about 10 songs down. And it sounds pretty good. The guitarrón player is Roger Phillips. And he emailed me out of the blue, and he's totally into it, and it's great. And I'll tell you what, Philip Pan from the Jacksonville Symphony, you guys who are not in Jacksonville don't know that he's the concertmaster for the symphony. He's adventurous with music. He does all different kinds of stuff. And he showed some strong interest in doing this. He would be the violin player. That's it, man. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful art. I can't wait to play it for people. We're very close to doing that. And hey, if you need a mariachi band, if you're a dude or a lady who wants to serenade somebody, we're for hire to go do that at somebody's balcony or at somebody's window or wherever you want. Get in touch with me for the prices on that. I'm making a menu for solicitors on what's available. And that's it. Are you bored? Are you bored yet? I haven't said anything funny. It's been pretty serious here on this podcast this time. And I knew it was going to be this way. That's why I didn't want to record, because I'm like, God, man, I'm in a serious mood. But you know what? I can't be a clown all the time, right? You don't want me to be a clown all the time. Maybe you do. Maybe I'm letting you down. Maybe I'm fucking up my brand right now. Has anybody ever referred to you as a brand? Like you're some sort of cattle and somebody just went like branded your butt with something? Isn't that demeaning? Is that demeaning or what, man? I think it's kind of demeaning, but I don't know if it's something that is escapable in our advanced hyper-capitalist society. I always appreciate you listening, and I look forward to hearing from you. I'm going to be doing a Ask Me Anything podcast episode, and I posted a Ask Me Anything question. Like you could ask me anything on Twitter, and the amount of replies that I got was 0. Nobody gives a shit. You give a shit though. You know what, man? A lot of people are not on Twitter. Everybody's on Facebook, and everybody's on the Facebook-owned companies like Instagram and WhatsApp. And then they're going to complain about monolithic corporations on there. Meanwhile, they support monolithic corporations on there when they don't have to. I have a blog post called The Cyclic Oligopoly Complex, which briefly describes a concept that I'm pointing out here about oligopolies, about companies that become so powerful and then people complain about it, but the people themselves made the company that powerful. I'm just rambling here, aren't I? But I always appreciate listening, for sure. Hey, you know what? And I have a Patreon, and you can donate at the Patreon or the PayPal. You don't have to. It's not how I make my living, but that would be great. To those of you who do, I thank you very much. And you know I appreciate it, especially if you know me personally. If you're a very wealthy man, just go over your computer right now and just lay me down some cash. Give me some money, and I'll put it in, my bank, and then it'll help me accrue some interest because my kids need some money for the future. And oh my God, I can't believe I'm still talking. I gotta go. I love you. Bye-bye.